Hello and welcome back to Drawing with Mrs. Mills. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And this is part 2 of what we started yesterday, which was this watercolor card. So today it is totally dry. It has been sitting for like 24 hours. So the first thing I'm going to do now that it's totally dry is take my eraser and clean up anywhere there are pencil lines. Because it's totally dry, I can erase most of the pencil lines. Some of the areas I painted over, sometimes you can't erase them, but I should be able to get most of these lines erased. Okay. You can see some of those lines in there I can't really erase. I'm gonna get the rest of them. Erased my flowers. That's okay. Alright, so anywhere that you painted over, it's harder to erase. I have this nice soft eraser and it does a pretty good job of getting most everything. But if I want to try to get the little lines, I'm really gonna have to push hard. Okay, so I have some options now. I could go back in with my paint, or I could go in with some colored pencils and do it that way. I think I'm going to show you how to do it with paint, just in the mood. So we're going to do some detail work with the paint. And it's nice and dry, but if you get water on here, you can reactivate your watercolors. So like if I come in here with water and do that, I can pull up, see that? I can pull up watercolor. So you do want to be careful. You never want to overwork it. You don't want to scrub or damage the paper when you're painting. So with watercolors, the general rule of thumb, it's better to underwork them than overwork them. But I'm going to show you how to do some kind of outlining and some detail work. So let's start with our leaves. I'm going to start with a green, and I'm going to be doing sort of the outline. So I'm going to mix a dark green. Put a little red in there to kind of get it to be really dark. All right. So what I'm going to do is come in and do the line work using the pointy part of my brush. And I'm using a pretty big brush, but I can still get a pretty fine line with it. You can use a thinner brush. I definitely have thinner brushes if I want. If I wanted a thinner line, maybe I'd pull up, there's a really thin guy. That's called a stringer brush that's used for really, really thin lines. So we'll try him for the lines on the stems. So you want to be really gentle with your brush and kind of twirl it into a point. See, I can get a pretty nice thin line there. I don't actually use these that much because usually I do my detail work with a colored pencil. I just thought it would be fun to do it this way today. Go back in. So I'm going to put in some of these lines. It's actually pretty fun. You could use black if you wanted. If you wanted a more, like a stronger line, you could definitely do this part in black. Would give it a different look, or you could do it in pen. So you can see I'm just laying in some of these lines. If you don't have one of these little brushes, it's totally fine. You can use pretty much any brush. You just have to kind of point the end and make sure you're just being really careful, keeping your lines nice and thin. Let's do our flowers. I'm going to start with the roses. I'm going to use a contrast color, so just a darker red. Come in. You can see that stands out nicely against what we already put in there. Really like the way that's looking, so I'm going to keep going. This is definitely something you would not want to do if what you were painting was wet. This would be really hard to do if it were wet. Since it's dry, you can get a really nice effect here. Get a little darker. Let's do the outline of the vase. Keeping it kind of on the light side. I don't think I'm going to line out my stems on the inside because I want them to stay nice and watery looking, but I do want to make a dark green because I want to put in details. So I'm mixing black and green to make it really dark. So I want to put in back here some depth because there's not a lot of depth in there. This is a darker green that I mixed up. Make that yellow flower stand out by surrounding it with this darker color. This is a really fun way to practice your line work. I never did outline my white flowers there. They're still kind of floating. So I should do that and outline my yellow. All right, so outline these yellow flowers. We could still do some details with colored pencil. Maybe we'll do one more pass with the colored pencil. That could be fun. I'm using sort of an orange color here. Let's put some orange in the middle. And let's outline these guys. So they don't just look like nothing. Alright, so I think that's about all I want to do with the watercolor today. Tomorrow maybe we'll do one more try and we'll add a little more zing with our colored pencils. Why not? Could be fun. Put a few more details in there tomorrow. But for today, I think that's looking great. I hope that you enjoyed drawing and painting with me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks for drawing with Mrs. Mills. Have a great day.